After the American Revolution, many people felt the need to expand westward to the Pacific Ocean. The philosophy was that the United States was meant to expand from sea to shining sea, and what's called manifest destiny. In 1803, Thomas Jefferson authorized the Louisiana Purchase, which doubled the size of the United States, for a relatively cheap price. After purchasing this cheap land mass, Thomas Jefferson sent Lewis and Clark to map the west of the Mississippi, research different plants and animals, and finally geographical features. Another accomplishment of this expedition is that it made people eager to colonize West. Andrew Jackson was the 7th President of the United States, serving from 1829 to 1837. This is commonly known as the Jacksonian era. Although he only served 2 terms, he is one of the most significant presidents, as he started something known as Jacksonian democracy. Jacksonian democracy is an idea that favors the common man rather than the high class or aristocrats. Jackson was a very stubborn and, it turns out, Adams and Clay made a deal, so when Adams became president, Clay became the secretary. Clay influenced the vote to Adams. People eventually found out, and hated Adams, as he just performed the corrupt bargain. Jackson immediately won in 1828. A series of reform movements began around the mid-1800s in an effort to make society better. Some reform movements attacked serious issues such as alcohol intake, women's rights, public education, the mentally ill and the treatment of prisoners. The women's rights reform movement was led by Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Lucretia Mott. They were outraged about the inequalities faced by women as they did not have suffrage, few political rights, and all their property was owned by their husbands. Stanton and Mott decided to hold a women's rights convention in New York. They modeled their complaints in a similar fashion of the Declaration of Independence. This convention was called the Seneca Falls Convention of 1848. They demanded equality of women. Slowly, more and more people such as Frederick Douglass and Sojourner Truth joined. New York passed laws to allow women to keep property and wages, but they would not get the right to vote.
Honey, I'm home. Honey, I'm home. Hey, honey, how you doing today? I ain't smell no dinner. Well, I was kind of busy today. Well, I've been fighting all these people out here, and you're just sitting around and dinner ain't even ready. Get back to the kitchen. Make me a sandwich ready yet? No, honey. You sure? Yes. Can you bring it over here? Yes, sir. What the heck are you doing? I'm sorry. Right there's the line. Kitchen, man. Winning, man. Winning, man. Kitchen, no. Off limit. Go to sleep. This is where you live and you die. Go to sleep, woman. Guess what? Little King fed back from the dead. The heck? Even New York is passing laws to women to keep their wages. Women!
For as long as humans were here, alcoholic beverages were among the most popular. Unfortunately, it was inevitable that alcohol abuse would spread far and wide to men, women, or even children. In the late 1820s, the temperance movement occurred, which campaigned against the sale and the drinking of alcohol. By 1850, Maine had banned alcohol altogether, and it wasn't long before other states followed. Carrie Nation, the leader of the movement, tried to prevent the abuse of alcohol, but it re-emerged anyway. In 1919, the 18th Amendment was passed, which banned the production, sale and transportation of alcohol. This caused many problems, as many people turned to the underworld to get their hands on the alcohol. and as alcohol could not be regulated, people began abusing it again. The 18th Amendment was repealed by the 21st Amendment, but modern-day organizations such as MAD continue the fights against alcohol. With America going through a revolution era, many citizens felt the need to revolutionize the country. In the mid-1800s, many changes occurred in the United States. These changes are known as reform movements. The series of reform movements swept across the nation to better society. American reformers concentrated on the issues such as prison conditions and the care of the disabled. A big contributor to resolve these harsh, serious issues was Dorothea Dix. Dix was outraged with the treatment of the prisoners. She was overwhelmed by the conditions adults, and even children had to go through. The prisoners were short in food and inmates crowded into dark, damp cells for their shelter. These were very uncomfortable and unsafe conditions for any human being to be under, and Dorothea Dix had no tolerance for this either. Dorothea Dix began visiting prisons in 1841, trying to convince others that these were unhealthy and unfair living conditions. After touring more jails, she witnessed the mistreatment of the mentally ill. Most individuals who were born with a mental illness were ruled insane, and were beaten in prisons for their uncontrolled behavior. Dix wanted the nation to know the true caring of the mental ill, and spoke up by issuing a report to the state legislature of Massachusetts. The state legislature was shocked by her report, and lawmakers voted to create new mental hospitals for the mentally ill. Dix did not stop in Massachusetts. She later went on convincing other legislatures to make the same improvements as well. Dorothea Dix made it her life's work to educate the public as to the poor conditions for both the mentally ill and for the prisoners. Dorothea Dix's devotion to forming a better society was successful and led to many other reform movements for other problems in
Any more of them Indians? Still nipping around over there? Messing with some firewood? You come over here. Ever heard of Jackson? No. Well, it's a little thing called Jacksonian democracy. Really? Yep. White people get what they want. You're an Indian, and I live here with my family. I understand that, but got a little problem here. We're going to be going to Indian territory, like it or not. Get out of here!
Bloopers.
So wait, what am I gonna do now? My mom, hold on. What's wrong with you? No, stay. That stuff makes a really weird noise. That's so gross. Okay. Clarence. There's a jump off. There goes Ronix. There's Ronix. There's Clarence.